Welcome to Heroes Rising, hosted by Sifu Rafael, a master instructor, public speaker, and the founder of Speaking Prowess. Known for his expertise in empowering individuals through the art of communication and leadership. Alongside him is co-host Jose Escobar, an acclaimed personal development speaker, 18-time published author, and founder of 2 thriving businesses, including the Connected Leaders Academy. Together, they bring you dynamic conversations with world-class entrepreneurs, industry icons, and visionaries. Heroes Rising is your go-to source for wisdom, motivation, and unstoppable growth. Join us and discover the hero within you.
Jennifer, thank you so much for being on Heroes Rising. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so it happens that Jose is not going to be able to join us, and the other gentleman that was going to be on with us is not going to be able to join us. So you are my hero today. Look at that.
Wow. Well, how fancy do I feel?
Yeah, and we had your brother Philip not too long ago on. So we're doing the whole family deal, right? Maybe one time we have to have you both on. That would be cool.
That would be wonderful. We would probably get a kick out of telling so many family stories that our cheeks would hurt from all the smiling and laughing.
Yeah. So I love today's topic, the hidden keys to change. And then basically I see that as transformation. We all go through it. We'll become butterflies at one point, but we don't become one butterfly, we become many. So we have many cocoons that we get into. What are your thoughts on the hidden keys to change?
I love that cocoon and butterfly analogy. Well, because I work with fascia. So fascia is the connective tissue that connects the whole body together. So when people say that the body is all connected, like fascia is the thing that makes that true. It intervenes with every fiber of every muscle. You can't function without it. Like the force of movement is transmitted through fascial engagement. And when fascia gets tight, it crystallizes. So it tightens, instead of having this fluidity like bread that you can knead, it has this dense, stuck, wet sand almost sensation. And so I find the cocoon analogy very interesting because I tell people that it's like onions. You know, it's just one layer at a time. It's wherever you're at today is the best that you can give, then that's the best that you can give. Okay. Like, let's just meet you where you're at that day and have little baby steps forward. We don't have to like peel open everything all at once.
You know, it's very interesting. I'm glad that you brought up onions, because when you peel an onion, you don't cry, but when you cut it, you cry. Why is that? And we're not getting into that part, but I'm saying it depends on how you transform, right? When you peel the onion, you're getting deeper into the story, but when you cut it, you miss parts of it.
The root.
Yeah.
Once you cut the root, that's when it starts to transmit all of those. We call them spicy eyes when I'm in the kitchen and cooking. Spicy eyes. Ah.
Root people and we're teaching people how to cut onions, right? But because you brought up layers, and when we think about the hidden keys, right? We all have those keys. But like everybody else, have you seen my keys? Have you seen my keys? Where are my keys, right? How do you help people find the hidden keys for them to be able to get to their next level, get to where they need to be?
Yeah. I would say it's asking a lot of questions, because it's not my job to fix people. I can't do that. That's not my responsibility, and it's not mine to carry. I want no part of that, but I can give tools. I can share wisdom that my parents shared with us. I can give personal anecdotes of how, this is how this generally turns out, or you could do what God says and, just kind of see how that turns out. I mean, that's an option. So like, it's a lot of, I can't hold your hand. I'm not your mommy. I won't even do that for my kids. They are expected to have a certain level of care and thought for each other. And when they don't, like, I know that you are a caring and you're a loving brother. Like, let's match your actions to your character, please. You're out of alignment. Fix that. Could you? Like, take a minute. So just being able to, like, it's okay to say the hard things. I don't like confrontation, but sometimes confrontation needs to be had, myself included. Sometimes the most beneficial people in your life are your haters, because they help you look at the things that, what are they saying about me and why does it sting? What stings and why? What is the bit of truth that I'm uncomfortable with? Own just that part. Let's say it's 1% of what they said is accurate enough that you need to sit with it, then just discard the rest of it. Well, your brother said that you're stupid and ugly. Okay, but are you? Well, no. Okay, then why does it bother you? If you know it's not true, they can say whatever they want to say, because you know who you are. Your identity isn't shaken because of their words. That's just an easier way of going through life.
Yeah, I love that concept of, discard what's not true, right? And so many people are hurt by false lies. I said false lies, and that's kind of like a weird way of putting it. But
well, something can be partially true and still a lie.
Correct.
I mean, that's one of Satan's favorite tricks. And that's what people who manipulate on purpose, that's what they do. They find that 1%, that 10% that is true, and then they make that the whole narrative. And that's how they get you into that manipulative hook. And so if you know who you are to a core, to a foundation, to the root, then you don't have to let those things bother you. You could, but that would waste so much energy that you could be using to continue moving forward instead of staying stuck. Like, isn't that harder to just walk in place on a treadmill? I don't know about you, but I'd rather go on a nature walk. Metaphorically speaking, I don't actually want nature to touch me. I want to touch it on purpose. Like, if I put my hands in dirt, that's one thing, but like spider webs and like twigs, like I can't do that.
You can't. Yeah. Remember, you have kids, right? And maybe your kids will bring you something that you don't want to have. They'll bring you a spider. They're like, "Mom, look what I got." Like, what? Get that away from me. But I love the fact that you said, "I'm not your mommy. I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to give you the tools so you can fix yourself." Because I love the concept of the tools that we have or we need to get from someone, or even the rusty tools that we stopped using because we thought there was something better, right? The grass is not always greener on the other side. It's your point of view.
Yeah, right? And how much spray paint they use to get it green.
That's right. It's very funny. We were talking about grass. When I had bought my house many, many years ago, the gentleman next door to me had these weird grass, and it was gorgeous. And he goes, "Don't you want my kind of grass?" I'm like, "What's wrong with mine?" He goes, "Well, it's got weeds, it's got this." It's like, okay. Now, what happened with his grass, in the wintertime, it turned brown, just one solid sheet of brown, and it was ugly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What kind of grass is that?" He goes, "Oh, it's the special kind." I'm like, "Well, you can keep it. I'm glad there's a divider between us so yours doesn't creep up into mine, because I don't want." It looked greener. It was beautiful in the summertime. But man, so we got to be careful when we're looking at someone else who may have what we want, what looks shiny, what looks bright, what looks incredible, yet we don't know what it really causes or what it does.
Yeah. Or what it took to get them there.
Yeah.
It's not like I had this week I had somebody just kind of, I have a bunch of different colors of pens and highlighters and different things for when I'm doing my studies and things like that. And I pulled it out of my bag and was sorting through trying to figure it out. And one of the ladies next to me says, "Wow, you're so put together." And I was like, no. Just because I like colors doesn't mean that I'm put together. Just because I like vibrant things when I'm studying, it helps me remember, doesn't mean that I am a more organized person. It just means I like bright things. So false humility or like taking a compliment that's not accurate, I think is unhelpful to the other person who is willing to live in that place of thinking that their perception is true. Like if somebody says something that's not true, I like to be able to say, hey, no, like that's not, my husband and I yesterday just celebrated 16 years of marriage, and we actually went and watched the USA game at a local just restaurant, and it was sad at the end. But people will, like, I can tell that there's some people who want to idolize our marriage and things, and I'm quick to tell them, like, no, like we have our struggles too. The difference is that we don't sit in the anger, because I won't let it. That's just not my nature. It's like, all right, let's not let the sun go down on this. And so there's difficulties and struggles that come with any person and any personality. It's just a matter of what's the hard that you're willing to fight for. I want to have a more communicative relationship rather than a less. So I'm willing to fight for the heart of the conversations that need to be had, rather than the heart of the dysfunctional relationship that happens if you don't.
Walking in someone else's shoes is not always as comfortable as we think it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that's just something I like to do, just because I think that it's not helpful for someone to idolize a couple that doesn't know all the struggles. You don't know what we've gone through. You don't know the fights we've had. You don't know the amount of back and forth to get to what is the middle ground we're both equally unsatisfied with, like you don't, but what did that, there's a reason that we're happily married after 16 years. And so we still choose to fight for the marriage, not against each other. Like the problem is the problem. You are not the problem. Like your behavior might be a problem. My behavior might be a problem, but the behavior is the problem, not the person. And being able to separate them and say that we're on a team, it has been invaluable.
Yeah. Because every team sometimes loses, right? We don't win every game, right? So sometimes there's loss as part of it. As you mentioned with the USA, there's a loss sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So you and I met in Philadelphia, and I got to tell you, your brother kept saying, "Oh man, I'm waiting for my sister. I'm waiting for my sister." And I'm like, okay, you're waiting for your sister. And I didn't know until later on how much he cared for you. I'm going to tell you why, because he left early because your plane arrived late. And he said, I need to be there for my sister when she arrives. I was like, wow, that's beautiful. Because he could have said, I'll see you tomorrow. Right? But he says, I hadn't seen her in 2 years. I need to be there. And then the next day, we all hung out. We hung out. We went out to eat food and all this stuff. Then later on, he said, I'm going to call it an early night because I want to spend a couple of hours with my sister before she has to take a flight. And so I thought there was such tremendous love for you. And it was so genuine. And he's like, you know what? I love you guys, but you don't matter as much as my sister. And that was beautiful. I got to tell you, that was really beautiful. And I don't know if you know that he did that, but I just thought I'd share it here with you live, because he's such a tremendous human being as well. And so you and I met there, and when he kept saying, my sister, I didn't know how powerful of a person you were till we actually kind of had a little bit of a conversation. So thank you for being that person.
Well, thank you. What a thoughtful thing to say. Not only you, but also my brother. And honestly, I went there to participate because I got to be with my brother. Like literally, he sent me the information. And I was like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. I'm still nursing my youngest, and I mean, she's old enough now that like she'll be fine. But like, am I fine that she'll be fine? Because she's my youngest, and God willing, she's my last. Yes. But honestly, that he was the highlight of going for me as well, because it had been 2 years and it was our mom's memorial the last time I saw him. And so there was a lot of emotions wrapped up in that as well. But, you know, he asked me, he says, come write a book with me. And I was like, well, when you say it like that, okay. So I jumped on board, and our mom loved to write, and she never got a chance to be a published author, but writing and creativity is just in our genetics. That is how we are all genetically predisposed, whether we like it or not. We're just a bunch of extroverts who like people and want to share my son used the phrase with me this last week, inherited wisdom. And that's what I'm going to call it now. To use the inherited wisdom from our parents to better our own lives and the lives of our own children. And it's just been a wonderful journey having the siblings and the parents that we had. It wasn't always perfect. In fact, it was really hard a lot of the time. We did not always like each other. Like there were definitely seasons of difficulty growing up. There's 4 of us, and I'm the youngest. Philip is the oldest. And then I have another brother and sister in the middle there. So we're all very strong personalities. We are all very bold people. We weren't afraid to tell you that I think that's stupid. Well, I think you're stupid. And we even in our fighting, Mom never let it get very mean spirited. Like you could say what you needed to say, but we're not going to try to use our words to tear each other down. So I think there's something very magnetic about our family growing up that even as adults, the 4 of us like to spend time with each other. We like to talk to each other. It was a pleasure to get to spend that time with my brother and have that experience with him, and have him have that experience with me as well. It was really cool to be able to walk away and say, hey, Phil, you know, half of Mom's kids are Guinness World Record holders. Yeah. And, you know, that was an honor to our mom and the desires that she kind of planted in our hearts of creative expression.
Yeah, love it. So it wasn't just to write a book, it's to try to break a record, a world record. And, you know, I'm so blessed that I'm part of it with you. So we broke a record with the old record used to be 126, and we came in at 142, and we're both World Guinness Book Record holders, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's something that nobody can take away, but I think the experience was also something that was really special, because when that room erupted.
Yeah, they didn't plan that, but that just was what immediate party, immediate celebration. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the song that played, right? Celebration.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was perfect timing. The room really, it was kind of quiet. It was calm. And when the number came out, poof, pandemonium broke out in a good way. Nobody got hurt. Everything was great. Everybody was just so overjoyed with not only breaking a record, but being part of it. And I think some of the people who were there and they didn't sign up to be part of it, they just went for the event, because we had more than 142 people there. They were overjoyed themselves too. And they're like, oh man, I should have been in it. But guess what? Shoulda, coulda. But here's the thing. They were there to celebrate with us. And the energy was so contagious that even the people who were not in it had no choice but to celebrate. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, even the Guinness World Record guy, like he seemed just so genuinely surprised by the like just electric energy and that was in the room, not only before, but then once the party erupted, like his smile on his face was just as big as the smile on my face. And ironically, he looks, I swear it's a weird resemblance. He looks like what my oldest son is going to look like in 20 years. So I look at that picture and I'm like, it trips me out. Like I'm looking at a picture 20 years from now. So, but yeah, it was a really, just a wonderful experience. And the ability to say, you know, Guinness World Record holder, has been really fun. And I didn't know how fun it was going to be until I had it, partly because my kids are just over the moon. They're just as excited about it as I am because they love Guinness World Records, right? I mean, there's videos on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
They're like, Mom, do you think that in a year, like your event will be up on there? I'm like, I don't know. I don't make those decisions, but I don't know. But maybe I'll let you know if I find out.
Yeah.
So the ability to share it, even with the people who weren't there, who feel connected to me, who then feel connected to everyone else who was there. It's just a really cool way that we've all met one another. And it wasn't just a networking opportunity. It was really a connection opportunity. I was telling someone that it was the first time I was in a room with a large number of, excuse me, a large number of people. And I felt like, yeah, these are my people. I don't feel out of place here. Like this feels like the place I was meant to be. Like, because growing up, I always felt, honestly, all of my siblings and I always felt like we were never accepted by the masses. Like there were like, somehow there was some scarlet letter on us that just, because you know my sibling, you don't want to know me, or, you know, because I carry myself some kind of way, you don't, okay, well, that's fine, but you're my teacher. Like, I don't appreciate that I have to defend myself against my teacher.
Wow.
So it was, we all had issues of feeling like we were on the outside, but I definitely felt that way. And it was really one of the first times where I was in a group of people where I was like, yeah, these are the people that we're like-minded. We're on mission in the same way. And my dreams don't feel small in this room. Oh, no, you know what I mean? Like, and that's really a unique place to be. I think that most people, when they actually say their dreams out loud, the people that surround them belittle the magnitude of the dream, whatever it may be. And it just was clear that that was not the group of people in that room. And it just was very, I felt like I could have talked to anybody in that room for an hour. And it was difficult that I didn't get a chance to talk to everybody individually because there were so many people that I did get a chance to talk to. And that was substantive that, you know, it takes a while to have a substantive conversation. You know, it's not just 2 minutes. So
if you think about the hidden keys to change, because if you had not come to that space, if you had not participated, I think the keys, the hidden keys is saying yes, right? When the opportunity comes, you have two choices. One is close the door on it when it knocks, or open the door, let it in. But then also letting the opportunity in. Now all these different things have to happen. You had to get on a plane. Your plane was delayed. You're like, oh my gosh, this is like crazy. Why am I even here? But you continued. You kept true to your yes, right? And so you found a way to still get there, to still do your thing, to spend the time, to understand that the power of yes sometimes is probably one of the most important keys we need when an opportunity is presented. The power of no is yet very powerful, right? Because not every opportunity needs to be looked at, right? But sometimes we make the right choice. And I think this was the right choice for you. Because you got to spend time with your brother, and I got to meet you. So for me, it was great. I'm glad you
Yeah.
said yeah.
It was really, truly a wonderful experience. I really enjoyed all of the time with all of the people that I got. And, I refer to what you're talking about as green lights versus red lights. When God plants something in your heart and you feel like you're supposed to do something and you really feel like, okay, this is what I feel led to do. Like, if it's a green light, go through it. Like the story of talents, like the one he invested, the other he invested, it wasn't as big of a return as the first guy, but the third one buried it. What are you doing with the talents and gifts that are given to you? And so if you feel like you're supposed to do something, then God will give you green lights to get to the destination, unless he needs you to wait, or he needs you to stop because, hey, you're veering off course and we need to recalculate here. You actually need to go a different. So if it's a green light, go through a green light. If it's a red light, stop at a red light. And if it's yellow, like, understand you might be waiting for a while before you can go again. But are you faithful in your waiting?
So we lost Jennifer. Hopefully she will be back. What a great conversation we're having so far. And I like the green light, red light effect because, and then you threw in the yellow, right? The in between. A decision has to be made. Either you stop or you go. And either one has different consequences. And she was just talking about the waiting aspect of it. But the other part is, what if you go and someone on the other side didn't want to wait for the light to turn green and they decided to just go anyway? And so there's an accident, because I've seen those happen. Somebody takes the light early. We have you back, young lady.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
That's okay. I was just talking about how I love the green red light effect. And then you brought the yellow light, which is a decision light, right? And every decision has a consequence. Yeah. Talk to us about that.
Well, I also think that God always answers a prayer. We just don't like the answer that we're given most of the time. And so we want to keep listening for the yes when it was a stop. Like sometimes he says stop, and sometimes he just says wait. There's a waiting period and we're not willing to wait. How many years did Jesus wait before his mission was fulfilled? Like, we got to stop expecting immediacy and be willing to be patient. And I tell my kids, patience is waiting with a good attitude. Like, I don't need you to sit there sulking with a bad attitude. That's not patience. That's brewing anger. No, thank you. Fix your face before you talk to me. Thank you. Like, that's
like that.
Because if your face is making this, that means that there's something up with your heart. So you need to fix your face by looking at your heart. But we've just kind of shortened it because it's more fun to say, fix your face before you talk to me. You're not ready. And I'm not ready to let that be what's talking at me.
I had a little kid wanting to ask me something really important. And he just was crying and crying. Now at this point, you got snot coming down. He wouldn't say a word because his mother put him up to it. Tell me something that was important to him. And I kept saying, what is it? What is it? He wouldn't say. So then I said, okay, I guess I'm going to guess what you want to tell me. And I'm going to tell you no. And he stopped crying. But when the no hit him, he started crying again. And I said, because you cannot tell me what it is, so the answer is going to be no until you can express yourself. If you can't express yourself, the answer is no. And I said, talk to me when you're ready. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. And it kind of took him for a turn. And the mom kind of looked at me and she goes, thank you. I said, yeah. I said, listen, I know what he wanted to ask me. but he actually has to mean it, and it can't come from you.
He has to learn the skill of speaking up for himself and knowing that what he has to say has value to the person
Right.
willing to listen. That's a perfect opportunity to teach a lifelong lesson that I chose not to speak up, and so I couldn't get what I wanted. Well, you have not because you asked not. It's the same of other people. One of my favorite things in the whole world to say is unsaid expectations are a recipe for unmet expectations. Like what is the recipe you're trying to cook? Do you want anger and bitterness to run your life, or do you want joy and peace? Notice I did not say happiness. I said peace. Joy and peace are not happiness. They're not the same thing. Happiness is an emotion that is fleeting. It's not a choice you make of a disposition of your personality. So what are the expectations you are having of people that you're not speaking to them? You're breeding bitterness because they can never achieve what you don't tell them to reach for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's very interesting because I was not. His mother could have talked to me at that point and said, "This is what he wants." I would have said no still, because she knew what she's like. He wants to talk to you about this. I said, "Wait, let him say it." He couldn't say it, so he thought he could get away with his mother saying it. Like, not in my world. No. And if you want to be in my world, the answer is no until you can speak.
Yeah. My kids are required to look at me when I'm speaking at them. That doesn't mean it has to be like, we're not in a staring contest, but like look in my general direction while I'm speaking at you so that I know I have your attention. Because at one point I might make you repeat back what I said because we believe in active listening in this house. I want you to be able to have successful relationships with people outside of this house. And that requires you to learn the tools in here with your brothers. And that is why my siblings and I are so close, is because my mom did that same thing for us. It was like, you will learn these skills for life as a human to be successful. But also, these are the people who know you the best. They know the worst parts of you. They know the best parts of you. They know your funniest and most embarrassing moments. They are people worth having in your life. Act like it.
Yeah.
Yes, Mom.
He wanted a leadership role. And I know that's what he wanted. I said, how can you be a leader if you can't even speak? So, but besides that, let me share something with you, and we'll be right back. Take a look.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event, it's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds, a movement of momentum. Sifu, Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC experience, mastermind, where purpose is found.
I move every time I hear that.
Well, you can't help. I mean, if you have ears, like you should be like bopping along a little bit to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. A little southern vibe there. I love it.
Yeah. So August 21st, we have a different event, but this one is in September 25th through 27th. So get your tickets, people. Let's get you there. So talk to me about your journey, because you were telling me earlier how you've changed from what you're doing about a year and a half ago, and what brought that on, because you didn't want to be. Go for it. It's on you now.
Yeah, so formerly my business was known as Be Well Doula and Massage, and that didn't feel like it really encompassed everything that I was doing, that I am doing, that I plan on doing. So I'm also a massage therapy instructor, as well as being a massage therapist for the last 16 years. And I'm also a birth doula for the last, I guess, 9 years now. That's crazy. And so I want to have more birth related classes. I want to have labor preparation classes where it's not just, hey, do these exercises, but what am I actually teaching clients in the labor preparation classes that actually translate to usable skills in labor, whether I'm in the room or not? How do I connect it to people, what they're feeling, where they want to be feeling it, micro motions. And so it didn't feel like Be Well was everything that I needed it to be. So I rebranded into Interwoven Therapeutic because we are body, mind, and spirit, and we have to integrate all three. We can't ignore one and pretend that, it's not going to manifest negatively somewhere in our body. If we, refusing to acknowledge some childhood thing, then we're probably going to have some kind of negative physical pattern, anxiety, GI problems, headaches, like it's going to manifest somehow, probably. Now, I can't fix people. I can't make miracles happen, but the fascial system is extremely complex, but extremely simple at the same time. So I'm able to just kind of find those places where they might be physically holding something attached to that negative memory from childhood, let's say, in this example. And so I don't need to know why it's there. I don't really care why it's there. It was a protection mechanism that your body used to protect you for whatever reason, and you don't need it anymore. So let's just work with the nervous system to calm it down, nice and slow. Everything's very slow. And then just see what the body decides it wants and help it do that. And it's amazing how the body can do what it needs to do. It just needs to have something there to help it through the process. In John Barnes' work, it's referred to as an external input. My hands are the external input that your computer program of a brain needs to have your fight or flight system turn off and recognize the touch to be safe, to be effective, and allow your body to let go of whatever protection mechanism it needed for whenever it needed it, but it's no longer serving you a purpose. And by doing that, I just have incredible interactions with people where I never know what the body is going to tell me. I never know where we're going to work. It's just like, okay, I feel like I'm hearing everything you're saying, and like I'm seeing this thing happening. Like, I just want to work in your torso. Okay. And then, okay, if that's cool. I didn't know that your body was going to react like that, but obviously this is why it told me to do this. So, I mean, I've been doing it so long, I can read what the body is saying to me without ever having to touch the body's communication network, the fascia.
So you can tell by the way somebody's standing even?
Often, especially if I know the client and I can see how differently they're carrying themselves from one week to another. Like, I just had a client this week where she was saying that her low back was hurting her, and then she was feeling some tension in her shoulders. But really it was her low back and her knees that were bothering her the most. And I said, okay, I feel like I want to release your spine. Okay, let's do it. Like, there's a trust that I've built with my clients over time that when I see something, they want to lean into that because, well, if my body is saying it, it must be true. Like, it's not that I want to work your torso. It's like, I feel like your body is telling me I want to work your torso today. Let's see what we find there and go where it tells us to go. It's very fascinating to me.
So you rebranded. Is it to give somebody a different idea of what you do? Or is it because you needed to do it for you?
I think for both purposes, I think that it was more of, I didn't want to limit what I was saying I was doing or limit what I was saying I was capable of. I needed to be able to flap my own wings, metaphorically, that if I wanted to move into a speaking role, Interwoven still felt aligned with that, that the body work stuff that I'm doing still fit within that name. The speaking and teaching is still, like the author stuff. There's so many different things that I do that I needed a name that could kind of umbrella all of it. And really, when I thought of Interwoven, it is the body, mind, and spirit connection that I hope that, just because of my mere presence and hopefully personality, we can help those things feel less agitated in your functional life, and bring yourself to a more homeostasis place, that balanced position, where you're not lopsided in your body, but you're not lopsided in any of those other ways either. Your spirit and your mind are equally important to the dynamic, and I don't want to ignore those facets of a human. And really, it's just questions and being present with the person. I'm not putting my belief system on somebody. It's just allowing their body to let go of whatever isn't helpful to them anymore, and they do the rest of the work.
It's very interesting because even the topic itself, the hidden keys to change, are in the body, right? And the way you position your body, the way you're walking. It's very interesting because I'm constantly looking at people. I'm a very much people watcher. And one of the things I always look for alignment, right? Because in martial arts, that's important. And I worked with professional dancers and so forth, because they're like, oh my gosh, you understand lines so well, because they've come to me to do martial arts, and then I'm teaching them about it. I'm like, wait a minute, this is the same. And so it kind of works, right? But the body doesn't lie. And there's so many hidden things within the body, right? That really, if once we unlock them, right, those are the keys that we have to put them in there and unlock it, and all of a sudden things unfold, right?
Yeah, I tell people all the time that the body never lies. It's always communicating something to you, is whether you're willing to be still and quiet long enough to listen, because the body speaks in a whisper until it's forced to speak in a yell. It will never yell at you unless it's whispered for a long time first. I want to train people's brains to process the whisper so that it never has to get to the yell. I don't want people to need to see me. I want them to want to see me. I want their functional life to get better as a result of the things that I am downloading into them during a session. It's often, I'll joke at the end of a session, thanks for coming to my TED Talk, because whatever topic we've found in the body that's related to what you've got going on, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Sure, let's go through the thought experiment. That was our dining room table growing up. That was how we did dinner. Literally, like, that's not an exaggeration. It was, know what you believe and why you believe it, or you've got more to learn. And so it didn't matter what position we had. Somebody was playing devil's advocate until there was no more advocate to have. Like, we would just play out scenarios to the end of the thought experiment, or somebody would chime in with their new topic, and then like, that's just the way we were raised. So we just see things differently.
Yeah, it's a great way to start looking at your own life, right? Because so many people don't look at their own lives as that, right? To even have a conversation with yourself about even things you're going through. Because a lot of people are going to put things on you. They're going to come over, they're going to put a sticker on you. And then here's another sticker. And then all of a sudden you're this whole thing. You have stickers all over you. And it's what people put their thoughts on. Every sticker that they clap on you or slap on you is their thought, not yours. Now you're carrying all this weight, right?
Yep.
So do you find a lot of times when people speak it out and they tell you their situation, all of a sudden their body opens up?
Absolutely. There is so much power in speaking something. I have had women relive horrible traumatic experiences on the table in probably more detail than they've done with anyone else, because no one else has made them feel safe enough to relay that information and not judge them like that shame is theirs to carry.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, so many people, they don't want to say the thing out loud because then what are you going to think of me about something that happened that was out of my control? Or it was in my control and I'm ashamed of how I chose to deal with it. So the ability to have somebody to just talk to that's just a sounding board. I mean, I had somebody who was a wrong number call me and we talked on the phone for about an hour and a half because he was going through this massive moral dilemma and he wanted to do the thing that wasn't right. Like that's what he wanted, but he also knew it wasn't right. And so he needed just somebody to talk to. And literally I was the wrong number. And I sat with him until he was like, all right, well, I said, well, you know, the moral of that was, what are you willing to tolerate in your life and not tolerate? And he's like, well, at the end of this conversation, a lot less. I'm like, huzzah, you know, not because I want to like change his desires, but because if he is desiring to want better things for his life, that's something worth celebrating. It's not about getting my position or my opinion seen by everyone else. It's just, let's think about things deeper. What's the why underneath of your actions? Maybe those are not great whys. Maybe you have somebody speaking this into you that's making this thought fester. So then you're wanting the thing. Maybe if you removed the friend, the desire would go away. Like everything this kid told me, like the friend was the red flag. I was like, out of everybody, they're the one you need to remove from your life, in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
That's very interesting that you took the time to speak to a stranger and pour into them. What makes you do such a thing?
People were willing to pour into me. I had some really hard traumatic things happen to me when I was really, really little. And my parents were wonderful in the aftermath of all of those things and like making sure that the appropriate things were done immediately after, but then also making sure that I had the opportunity to seek counseling. And I was in counseling for a couple of times a week for a couple of years. When you go through really hard things that you shouldn't have to go through really young, and you have the chance to process it in a healthy way with a loving family where I didn't feel like there was shame put on me because of this thing. It was like we as a family were all processing the adjustment to the family because of what I had gone through. Not in a bad way, but in a, we're all a part of this family together and our teammate is going through something and that affects us all. So we can all talk about it as long as it's not unhelpful to the teammate who's struggling. You know what I mean? Like, and that was the atmosphere. And I've never actually worded it that way before, but we've been watching a lot of soccer. So probably why it's on my mind. So I just think that when that's the mindset that my family and I can go through literally anything and come out stronger on the other side. You can't change my mind because we've lived it.
Right.
And knowing that God was with me in the midst of that at such a young age, I can't separate out my character from my knowledge that God is who he says he is. He does what he says he's going to do. And he is in the midst of my pain with me. I've had a lot of sadness. I've had a lot of sorrow. I've had a lot of really hard things happen in life. Mm-hmm. But my nickname is still Sunshine. That someone else gave me, actually. I didn't give that to myself, just to clarify. But like, there's a reason that I have the joy of the Lord. It's because I choose to live firm in the knowledge that God is who he says he is. And his character is worthy of trust, even if I don't understand it. Because I feel like a little girl who's blindfolded and there's a hill off, or there's a cliff off to my left, and I'm on a path with Jesus, and I'm just holding his hand blindfolded.
Mm.
And in the last month or so, I feel like he's like, we're at a jogging pace now. And I'm like, I still don't know where we're going. This is harder. Okay. I mean, I still trust you, but please don't let go of me, because I'm going to try real hard not to let go of you. And if I do, oh, you'll be there to pick me up when I stumble and fall. Okay. Okay. The Bible tells me that too. So I can just speak that over to myself over, and over and over. So.
Yeah, that's beautiful that you do that. Let me share this video with you. Take a look.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
That's it. Let's start. Let's get going.
I love that. That is so on brand, because I'm like, yep, okay, yes, you need that, and then yep, then that's that's another one too. Like as it was going through the principles there, I agree with every single one of them.
Yeah.
It's just so important.
Oh yeah, there's another one I didn't put on there, and the other one is the 8th pillar, which is sleep, which is also incredibly important. So how much of that are you getting, being that your youngest is young?
Believe it or not, I intentionally structure my schedule pretty balanced, and it fluctuates as I need it to, but I only massage 3 days a week. I only take on 2 doula clients a month at a max. I haven't started teaching my classes yet, but I already have in mind of a rotation of, I won't be teaching all of them at the same time because I'm only teaching X number every X number of weeks. And so I try to be intentional about planning my work time so that the rest of the time is obligations of keeping the house in order and then being with my kids. When I'm not at work, I really try to be present with the kids as much as possible. So I do get a pretty good balance of those things. I have little tricks, like when I do grocery shopping, I try to avoid the aisles. I shop around the U. Yes. That's where all the fresh fruit, that's where all the fresh vegetables are. That's where all of the dairy is. That's where all the meat is. Everything else is just filler. And unless you specifically need something specific that's on your list already, avoid those aisles. That's all impulse buying. And it's so that's just a little trick that I do when I go to the grocery store. So that's, one of the ways that I keep up with our general food wellness. I've been getting into a lot more of herbal teas. So I have a homemade hydration blend so that it'll hydrate at a cellular level instead of just this, bulk tap water that doesn't actually hydrate us molecularly. So I've been geeking out quite a bit the last 3 years on a lot of books that I can't believe I'm reading in my spare time for fun. Okay. I'm almost unrecognizable since taking my first John Barnes class, in the sense that I feel like I had all of the pieces to a puzzle, but I didn't have the box that the puzzle came in. And then I took my first John Barnes seminar class for pediatrics, but it was profound. What I learned, what I experienced, what my body went through in the hands-on portion where you're practicing, the way that my body responded was so unique. I was like, okay, so I can't ignore that something actually is really beneficial here, because I'm the one who experienced this very profound experience in class. And then I came home reading biomechanics, quantum biomechanic books and the fourth phase of water and the mind-body connection and like all of these super sciencey things. And I'm like, ooh, wait, and it does what? And what? I mean, some of these things I had known, but it was this renewed desire for knowledge because it's just fun.
Isn't it fun? Because I teach on all that, and I have tons of infused teas, infused waters, and just drinking straight up water doesn't really do anything for you. You create an electrolyte with pink Himalayan salt and apple cider vinegar, right? So, if you want to taste like a Gatorade, you throw a little bit of lemon in it. All of a sudden, people are like, "Oh my God, yes!" And
It's
it's not.
Gatorade, yeah.
It's not unhealthy. It's actually better for you than those sports drinks, because the sport drinks, oh my goodness, what don't they put in there?
Well, and for us, that's kind of the thing is how much can I, within my own actual bandwidth, sustainably do that's outside the conventional norm. Like I make my own laundry detergent. I haven't bought laundry detergent in over 10 years.
Wow.
Couldn't tell you exactly how long, never really make the same recipe exactly the same. It's like, I'm going to get these ingredients this time in this quantity and mix it up roughly, the ratio I want. But I've done it for years and I love it. I don't think, and then I walked into a laundromat recently and the smell of the detergent was so overpowering. It almost made me sick. I was like, oh, it's just chemicals. It's just, I'm breathing in chemicals. No wonder I'm so happy with our laundry detergent. The smell is good, when you first put it on, but the absence of smell is clean.
That's it.
So
I
have questions.
What a great time that we've had together. Thank you for being here. And I know we had other people who were supposed to be here, but it happened to be just you and me. And I'm kind of blessed that happened, right? There's a reason everything happens. As you know, we both believe in God and he knows better than we do. And so, but one of the things that is kind of crazy is that your camera keeps flickering and it's like, I'm like, oof, it's almost like saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. Right? And it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I don't know why it's doing that. It just started to do that all of a sudden and it won't stop now. But
because what winds up happening is it just says, keep looking because something special is going to happen. So thank you for being here and being that special person. So I really appreciate
thank you.
Before we go, why don't we put your information across the bottom? What can somebody expect when they do connect with you?
Well, they'll give me a call or send me an email and I will find out what it is specifically they're inquiring about, whether it's massage or doula or classes or, my books or speaking engagements. And then you get on my calendar for whatever the event is. And I have different forms for different things. So massage forms are different for massage things and doula forms are different for doula things. And kind of getting all of my operations set up for requests for speaking and teaching opportunities in other places in other regions. So email is really the best way to connect with me there other than directly a phone number. My website, I've got my Facebook and my Instagram. So I'm findable.
That's it. Yeah, just go to our website. Is going to say your website out loud.
Yeah, interwoventherapeutic.com, or it's Facebook Interwoven Therapeutic, or Instagram is Interwoven TX, because I'm in Texas.
There you go. Perfect. Jennifer, what a pleasure. Stay young, stay beautiful, and keep those kids engaged, because I know you will. And I can't wait till I see you again in person.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And every time I chat with you, it's just always a good time. So thank you.
Okay. God bless you. And everybody, do me a favor. Somebody needed to listen to this message today. And if they didn't, share it with them because they will benefit from it. Thank you, everybody. God bless, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.